geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo, even out, settle scores quick. A disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another OSCP journey video. Today I'm going to be exploring some antivirus evasion techniques and man-in-the-middle attack type stuff. So yeah, I've created a little scenario. We'll go over that in just a second. I have a little bit different setup today. Excuse my ugly poly bar here at the top of my screen recorder icon. I'll probably pick a new screen recorder because I don't like how that looks. I gotta have my rice all good to go. So this is my new Arch Linux setup. I am still using Kali, of course. I've actually got it on a separate drive. Kali is just the de facto go-to. All the tools pretty much work all the time. All the configurations are nice. But I wanted to have like a nice hobbyist work setup where I could also still do my pen testing, hacking type stuff. So Arch came in handy because you can install the Black Arch pen testing repo on top of normal Arch and it won't affect anything. So I can have a nice well-configured Arch setup that works how I like it, but also still have access to the pen testing tools I use. And I really like it also because any tools I do install, I install them one at a time, so I know exactly what's on my system, and I only use what I know how to use and what I'm familiar with. There's no tool that I'm just going to throw at something, which is often the mistake with Kali and how you get the script kiddie jokes and all that kind of stuff. People are just throwing stuff at, whatever they want. But there's some pros and cons to all that, of course. That's why I still keep Kali around because, for example, Armitage. I don't really use Armitage that often, but it's nice to have sometimes, especially when I want to do maybe like a team server thing or whatever. But I couldn't really get it working on my Arch setup for some various different reasons. I'm still looking at that. I'm sure I could, but it works out of the box on Kali. So just examples of that. But I'm using this today just to give it a try for one of these videos. So either it works great or it doesn't, but we'll see. If I post this video, obviously that meant it worked pretty well. So I'll probably switch back and forth between the two different setups. Hopefully it's not too jarring for you guys. I really don't care. It's just going to be about what I feel like using that day. So yeah, the scenario we're in today isn't really one of the normal ones where I sit down in front of a box and I don't know how to hack it and then I hack it. Today is going to be a little bit different because it's going to require some user interaction. So on the OSCP, I've seen and read lots of different things saying that stuff like man-in-the-middle attacks and like phishing type stuff might be valid ways to exploit machines. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, obviously, as I've not taken the OSCP and I have not seen any of the course material, but from what I've read on like forums and stuff, that's potentially a way. That's a potential attack vector to get in, rather than just exploiting machines the traditional way. So as kind of part of that, I wanted to demonstrate and practice doing man-in-the-middle attacks and doing some antivirus evasion, because both of those things are kind of important in the real world. So at my job doing actual engagements and stuff like that, these are two utilities that are fairly new in the InfoSec tool belt for the entire community that work really well for accomplishing these goals. So one, if you've watched IPSEC's videos, he recently did one, I believe, with Pinky's Palace, or maybe it was SOCAR. I don't remember which VM. I believe it was VulnHub VM, though, where he used Bettercap to do some man-in-the-middle, some R spoofing stuff to successfully exploit the machine and get root. And that was a pretty cool video, and it inspired me to look into Bettercap a little bit further and actually play with it in a more professional way. So now I'm going to show you guys kind of what I've learned from a simple slide. So we're going to use Bettercap to kind of sniff some HTTP traffic and hopefully snag an admin credential that we can use to log in and then do some post-exploitation using Merlin. So Merlin, not a lot of people know about, surprisingly. I would have figured more people would have known about it. Merlin is an awesome command and control center utility that communicates over SSL via new HTTP 2 protocol. It's also written in Go, just like Bettercap and GoBuster are, and its agents are written in Go, which means that for the most part, antivirus doesn't detect them. Now, I don't know if this is just because of a property of Go, or because they're new binaries and AV is not looking for them, or if it's just for how they about how they behave heuristically, if they're evading heuristics as well. Not really sure why they're so effective at evading AV, but so far, both professionally and for fun, for CTFs and stuff, I have successfully evaded AV using these agents on multiple occasions. So, little pro tip out there: if you're either encountering some older AV or some newer AV, this may be a good way to go for bypassing that. So yeah, Merlin works a lot like PowerShell Empire, only it's written in Go and can be used cross-platform, not just with PowerShell scripts. So I believe PowerShell Empire has some post-exploitation stuff for like Linux maybe. I can't remember. I haven't really used Empire that much, but I know Empire is mostly for Windows post-exploitation. It's got like PowerUp and stuff, so I'm not really sure that it's useful for Linux and Mac OS as well, but Merlin is. Merlin can do every operating system, or at least every modern desktop platform. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So our scenario here is we are on a network with a target machine. Now the target machine is an administrator of a blog site. You'll recognize the blog. It'll be very, very familiar. And we are going to try to monitor their network traffic as they log in to this admin site to see if we can steal their password, and hope that maybe they're reusing a password, and then we can use that password to log in their machine and do some post-exploitation to make sure we maintain access to that machine. I'm not going to get too fancy with the post-exploitation. It's mostly going to just demonstrate the AV evasion. Today, the antivirus I'm choosing to evade is Malwarebytes. Now, I love Malwarebytes personally. I think it's pretty good AV for what it is. And I do recommend it, but this, unfortunately, this nice fancy Merlin agent has evaded every antivirus that I have ever tried to use. I haven't found a single one where it's been flagged yet, and hopefully this video doesn't bring that to light too much, but you know, that would be the whole point of antivirus, to improve, is to block these kind of things. Yeah, at some point the pen testers don't get to have fun anymore because we've improved security, but that's the whole point. That's why we do what we do. We pen test to improve the defensive security, so that the defensive security gets better. So we have to get better and beat that new tier. It's an ongoing cycle. So, you know, if this no longer evades AV by the time you watch this video, too bad, so sad. You missed out on a good time. Anyway, so yeah, Malwarebytes will be what we're evading today. I've got like the 14-day pro trial activated on this VM, so it's got full protection for network mitigation, exploit mitigation, all that kind of crap, and it will establish some command and control there and go from there. So this will require me to interact as if I am the victim, on account of it's not just going to automatically, you know, click links and go to websites and stuff like that. So it's going to be not like your traditional video where I am hacking a box from start to finish. It's going to be me kind of interacting as the victim and me interacting as the attacker to try to emulate a real world scenario and show you how you might configure these tools to achieve a goal like this. So I've talked enough, let's do it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is, of course, a net discover to identify our targets. We're going to cheat just a little bit with this net discover because I am on my lab network with a lot of vulnerable virtual hosts. So the host we're looking to target will be this, and I know that because of this Mac vendor identifier. This will be my local VM that's running on my machine, and we know this website all too well from our previous from our previous endeavors. Yeah. My awesome photo blog. So we are going to try to, instead of exploit the photo blog, we're going to exploit the admin of the photo blog. So let's go ahead and start setting that stuff up. So let's do sudo Bettercap. Alright, so this is Bettercap. It's kind of got a stream of input coming in. This video may feel a little bit more like a tutorial than the normal videos. It's not this one basically is a tutorial. This is how I would configure Bettercap, how I would do these things. But this hopefully will be good practice for me because I've tested each piece of this. I've gotten Bettercap to work by itself. I've gotten the post exploitation to work by itself, but I haven't chained the two together, so we'll see how this goes. So sorry about that. So net recon off. We don't want it to do any recon. We're going to specify the host ourselves. So that's what we're doing there. We're going to set a few options. So if we check the arp.spoof, these are a couple of options we can set. So we don't want to spoof the entire subnet here. Instead, we want to set arp spoof targets. That's not the right target. So let's do a netdiscover again to make sure we get that right target. 2.163. That's going to be our target. We'll go ahead and copy this IP for now just in case we need it later, although we'll probably override it. Alright, so we're going to set that target. I'm going to go back to our help. We want to look at net.sniff. So we want to set net.sniff.verbose to false. We don't want it just to spit out everything at us. We want to say help http.proxy. We're going to turn on SSL strip just for fun. But this website won't have SSL strip, so it's kind of pointless. Or it won't have SSL, so it's kind of pointless. Also, I've seen a lot of videos with Bettercap claiming to be able to do SSL strip on like Gmail and Facebook. I don't think this is true. I believe I have tried it recently when those kind of videos came out, trying to see if it would actually downgrade SSL on major sites. Maybe at one point it did when it was new, because frankly, the implementation of SSL strip in Bettercap is pretty damn good. But SSL strip still only really works if there is a site to downgrade to for HTTP. If there isn't one, it can't downgrade. And that's that simple. So the SSL strip is still worth the shot for sure, but don't count on it working for your major sites. There's also an HTTPS proxy as well, but we won't need that today. It's got very similar settings as the HTTP proxy. So the HTTP proxy, we're gonna want to set proxy dot SSL strip turn on true, just in case that were true. Always do that. Not really necessary in this case though, like I said. Alright, so now we're going to turn some of these utilities on. So first we're going to turn ARP spoof on. Then we're going to say HTTP proxy on. And then we're going to say net.sniff on. So now we should be successfully ARP spoofing our target machine, hopefully. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But if it is working, that means we're going to be the man in the middle. All their requests, maybe not all of them, but hopefully the majority of their requests will see pass through us and forward them along. So we're just kind of passively sniffing the traffic in between us and the router. And we also have this proxy set up for HTTP traffic. So if we see any HTTP traffic, that'll be clear text and it'll post up. And what's really nice about Bettercap is any like post and get requests will show up and clearly define what those parameters were, which means if there's a password in one, we should be able to see it. Alright, so let's pretend to be our victim over here. So we need to go to our blog site that we need to admin, right? So, .2.211 maybe? I think that's right. This VM is going to be a little bit slow, so bear with me at these trying times. I'm giving it plenty of RAM and stuff, but you know, Windows is Windows, especially in a VM. Oh, and there goes edge crashing. Okay. Alright, so 192.168.2.211. Alright. Yep, there we go, that was the right one. So, oh, instead of maximizing that, let's just do it this way. Alright, so I'm the admin of my site, and I'm going to go log in. Now the password for this won't be right for the photo blog, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be typing in the admin credentials for this machine that we're targeting as a VM. So type in admin, type in the actual password for the machine, make sure I type it in right, and then we hit login. No, we don't want to say the password. This poor soul's gonna have enough bad days. Alright, so now if we're successful in our ARP spoofing and successful in our sniffing, when we go back over to our Bettercap session, we should be able to see those credentials. Oops. And there they are. So our ARP spoofing was successful. We have all this HTTP traffic coming through. In fact, we can see where all the HTTPS traffic as well. We can see what sites they were visiting. So we can actually use this information too to do some DNS spoofing. So even if we couldn't successfully get some HTTPS clear text, we can maybe mess with the DNS spoofing stuff and make them visit our version of Bing.com or something like that. Just to, if they're actually visiting that. Now, obviously, most of the stuff is just from us opening Edge. It's not actually us visiting it, but we can see where they visited this HTTP site and then attempted to log in, and even though their login wasn't successful for them, we got some credentials. So admin scramble dog. So scramble dog is our password. Alright, so we're going to copy that, and we are pretty much done with Bettercap for now. That was us man-in-the-middling that traffic and successfully sniffing it, so we'll exit out of that. We got our cred. Now we're going to want to try to log in. So I'm going to open up a new window for that, since RDP is going to get kind of ridiculous. So our desktop, we actually have where I was testing stuff out, so this is going to make this a little bit easier for us. Alright, so now we should be able to our desktop into this as admin scramble dog. We're going to try admin as our credential. It might be administrator, but based on their username for the portal, it may just be admin. This is just kind of a gimme for proof of concept purposes. Alright. Well, looks like it worked. Just taking a second to log us in here. Alright, cool. So we have our ugly little RDP window here. Now, normally I would prefer to do like a PS exec and get a shell. It'd be much faster. The reason I'm RDPing in is just because I was having difficulty with firewall configuration stuff. So for the sake of the narrative, let's say we waited until 3 o'clock in the morning, so we would ensure that the admin was no longer on this box. Now obviously after you've sniffed a credential, if you can't PS exec or quietly make your way onto the machine, and the only way you can get in is our desktop, you should maybe wait until after hours when you're not seeing any traffic really come out of the machine, or at least only see like passive traffic, so you can ensure maybe they're not interacting with the desktop. So if you want to RDP in, you're not going to get caught. You're not as likely to get caught. So we're assuming it's after hours, and now we're in control. Actually should have left that open. So we're going to do some post-exploitation now. Now we see we have Malwarebytes installed. Let me show you guys that this is actually active and running. That's always the big meme with these AV evasion things. You got to make sure you can see that the AV is running. If the AV wants to open. I can show that it's running down the system tray right here. It's just saying a scan has never been run, but that scan won't matter if it can't detect it when I need it, when I'm actually actively using it. Alright, so while Malwarebytes is taking its sweet time to load, we're going to go ahead and set up our Merlin setup. So Merlin's really great. I prefer to compile it, but for the sake of the tutorial, I've downloaded their release version. Their release version is actually really cool because it comes with precompiled binaries and precompiled agents for a lot of stuff, and they're still pretty good, even if you don't compile them yourself. So it's pretty it makes for a pretty easy stand-up and go setup like I have here. But I mostly prefer to pre-compile stuff so I can make silent agents that connect back to my server. I don't have to pass any parameters, but we are going to have to pass some parameters today. So we have this agent.exe. I'm actually going to copy agent.exe to something more inconspicuous, like svchost.exe or something, because that's like a typical Windows service thing. So we're going to make a copy of that, so we'll have another agent. And we're going to open a new window here, and in this window we're going to say Python we're going to start a simple HTTP server to serve up our agent. And over here we're going to start the Merlin server. So this will start our command and control server, listening on port 443, nice SSL connection. Already have those SSL certs pre-generated and whatnot. Alright, so here we go. Malwarebytes decided I didn't want to load up. So we got the free trial, premium real-time protection, whatnot. Let me show you that everything's enabled, so everything's on. Haven't done a scan, but you know, if you can't catch it in the act, then you know, unless your scan catches it right at the same time I'm running it, then it doesn't matter. So there you go. Again, I'm not bagging on Malwarebytes. Actually, it's one of my favorite products compared to many AV out there. This is just, I picked an AV and I picked that Malwarebytes because I liked it and I wanted to see if it worked, and it did. Alright, so 192.168. So let's go get our agent. So I would always much rather do this through PowerShell, but we're going to do it the GUI way. Since we're here. So we're going to download this agent. And now what's really cool about this is now I'm just going to run it via the command prompt. And it's going to run silently, and we can exit the command prompt and walk away. But what we can also do is set up some persistence, maybe install this as a service, or put it in the auto run folder, whatever we want to do, we could totally do. But for just the sake of this video, since I've been making longer videos, we're going to keep it short. So the way Merlin works is you want to specify the URL to your command and control server. It's going to be 168.2.186, and it's going to run that, and it's running. And now if we pop back over to our command and control server, see here our successful HTTP server request. We can kill that, we don't need anymore. We can also see, oh, we've got a new agent check-in, so we can see agent list. And look at that, we've got an agent running on our victim machine. So now we can, I'm going to show you Task Manager here. Show you kind of what this looks like as a running service. So basic service doesn't look like anything strange is running, and Antivirus has not caught it. No flag. May turn on scan to run in the background now. What's funny is I'm pretty sure this is the service, this blank service, which is kind of inconspicuous because it's not showing up as SVC host like it should. Normally it has like the name of the actual host, but I guess Windows doesn't like that. But that's still not really indicative of a virus, you know. Who knows? I know I personally, if I saw a blank service, I'd be like, okay, what the hell is that? But most people wouldn't be. They'd just be like, okay, well that's nothing. That's clearly not malware.exe, you know. And I am done with my RDP session though, because I have established my post-exploitation successfully. So I can get some help here. So I can say agent interact this agent. So what are some things we can do in the agent? Or we can run commands. We can download files from the agent. We can upload files to the host. We can kill the agent. And we can set some agent options like to sleep and stuff like that, which is really cool. So we can get some info about the agent. We know that it is a Windows desktop, AMD 64. This is our username, our GUID, host name, what process ID we're running on, all the IP stack information, our check-ins. So this calls back to the server. So the server basically, when I run a command here, it posts it up and says, hey, agent with this ID, run this command. And then every so often on an interval, the agent will check back with the command and control server and be like, oh, I need to run this command. And it goes, runs it, and reports back. So we can kind of see that here. So if we do cmd, who am I? It's not instant because it's posting up the command and server. And now when the agent checks back in, about now, or maybe now. I don't know how often it's checking in. There it goes. Created a job for agent. And here's the results. So it gives me, takes in a minute, but gave me my who am I. So now I'm free to execute commands. I've got my command and control server. Everything's great. I can establish more persistence. I can upload files. I can now exfiltrate information. And it's all over SSL, over an HTTP2 protocol, via this inconspicuous agent. So those are some really cool techniques I've learned for more modern penetration testing that I've been able to actually apply out in the field. So hopefully that's helpful on the OSCP. I know it's helpful for me to get some practice in with man-in-the-middle type attacks, because a lot of the tutorials for Bettercap or for Ettercap and some of the older man-in-the-middle frameworks are still relevant, but they're not as efficient or effective. You saw how easy and quickly it was for us to set up ARP spoofing with Bettercap. So you could chain Bettercap with something like the social engineering toolkit to stand up a quick set site like Facebook, and then do some DNS spoofing, and it'd chain those together, and it's a lot more efficient. So those are just some techniques and stuff I've been learning that will apply to my OSCP. This is just kind of me practicing chaining those techniques together. Like I said before this video, tried them in parts, but I hadn't chained together the man-in-the-middle attack with the post-exploitation. So just kind of a simple overview. Like I said, we didn't get too crazy, just demonstration of some of these modern tools. I believe the new hacker playbook has some more in-depth instructions about these tools. I haven't checked it out, but I've seen it, some of the InfoSec community posting about it on Twitter stuff. So yeah, before we go, I just want to thank everybody for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. I see like channels like Live Overflow all the time. He talks about how this is such a niche topic and how it's amazing that he has the amount of subscribers as he has. And Live Overflow is amazing at the stuff he does, and I love his channel. It's a great reference. So the fact that I have any inkling of following and support is pretty freaking cool. So just thanks for that. Thanks for the support. Keep liking and subscribing if you like these types of videos. Obviously, the OSCP Journey series won't be the only videos I make. Eventually, I'll make some cool tutorials and do maybe like some OSCP reviews, and maybe make some cool like instructional videos and stuff. I really like the format Live Overflow does. I also really like IPSEC's Hack the Box videos. Maybe I'll do like a mashup of the two, because I really like all that kind of stuff. We'll see where I go, but for now, the OSCP is my focus. So thank you guys for watching and enjoying these videos. I'm so glad that you learned from these. This was more of a tutorial oriented video. I know usually my other videos aren't really tutorials, so hopefully this one scratches that tutorial itch and helps you learn a little bit more about these new, more modern tools. Not an expert by any means, like I always say, but I'm getting there. I'm getting a lot better. So hopefully, guys, you all can see that growth and improvement as well. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Never thought we'd have a song like this. Like this.
Okay.
The other comforter. Every time I went to